taught us what it means to be a congregation in so many different ways. The Torah portion for this week is Baha'alotecha, and it's one of the worst and the best Torah portions that we can think of. It's the last in the book of Leviticus, and God offers us blessings. If you follow my commandments, you'll have a harvest rich in grain and wine and oil. And if you don't, and there are 39 horrific things that follow, including a famine in which you're so hungry you will eat your kids. It's horrific. Our congregational life this week was filled with many downs and with many ups. We mourn with our president, Dean Ross, whose son Sean died this week. We will be burying him on Wednesday morning at the VA cemetery and then coming back for another congregational funeral at 2:30, followed by Shiva. Dean, I'm so sorry for your loss. My heart goes out to you in so many different ways. And we'll keep processing together. We learned last week that our beloved Rabbi Emerita had fallen and thankfully got herself to the hospital where she needed to have surgery to remove a tumor that was either on her spine or in her spine. After 5 hours of surgery yesterday, they found out that it was on her spine. Thank God, it's a miracle. And with PT and her strength and endurance and stubbornness, she may be walking by the high holidays. I cannot think of anything more joyous for all of us than to have her walk in the room and take her chair in the back, maybe come up on the bima and share some words of wisdom. She's our strength. Gabby's son Simon had surgery this week for a torn meniscus. It's healing nicely. But it's been a very stressful week for us all. And we all need this time together, Shabbat, as a community. Abraham Joshua Heschel said that during the week, we are so focused on the work and the task ahead of us that we don't stop and slow down. And he said opportunities come on Shabbat when we're able to take a step back and look at the painting that we're creating of our life. And we're able to see clearly the beauty of the life that we're building. There may be dark spots, but later on we may realize that the dark spots gave us some tinge of brightness, of color, that we met new people, that we learned something from someone else, something that will stay with us forever, that someone gave us a piece of our puzzle without knowing it, and we were able to give them a piece of our puzzle without knowing it. This is how the world works. But I found from the first moment that I walked through the doors at Monmouth Reformed Temple that this is a community in the highest sense. That we love each other. That we support each other. That we hold each other up when we need to. And that you're always surrounded by people who are willing to do anything. And so, I want to say thank God this week that I'm a part of this community. With everything that went on, you all gave me the strength to continue. And so this Shabbat is one of sadness, but it's also with joy Because on Shabbat, we let go of the sadness and we celebrate the blessings that we have in our lives. We begin our service with the singing of Shiru Ladonai. We'll sing the melody through 4 times. I'm sure that most of you know it. We ask you to join in. And the 4th time, we're going to try harmony. Good luck to me.
I never correct the rabbi, so please don't take this the wrong way. We're going to sing it together twice. Then
okay.
I'm going to do the harmony.
Okay.
So the 3rd time, Rabbi's going to take over and sing the melody with you. And then the 4th time, I'll come back with you. But don't listen to me. If you want me to turn the other way, I will, whatever you want. Please join me. Oh, I'm sorry. What page? That's a very good idea. Page 131.
Shiru Ladonai.
Thank you. Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz. Shiru Ladonai shir chadash. Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz. Shiru Ladonai shir chadash. Shiru Ladonai. Shiru, shiru Ladonai. Shiru Ladonai kol haaretz. Shiru Ladonai shir chadash.
Beautiful. Thank you for joining in. The harmony sounded, your harmony sounded terrific, and thank you all for hanging with me. We turn in our prayer books to page 121 and then to 120, and we invite up to light the candles and to say Kiddush tonight, Ellen Goldberg, our newest Gammy in the congregation. And her grandson, who's how old? A month?
3.
3 weeks, is already talking. I saw a video today. He was totally talking.
All right, I don't know if that's considered talking. This is part of the joy you were talking about this week, right? Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Page 123.
The heaven and earth were finished, and all their array. On the 7th day, God finished the work that God had been doing. And God ceased on the 7th day for all the work that God had done. And God blessed the 7th day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done. Yeah?
Oh, whatever you, I take my lead from you.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kadosho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron le'maaseh bereishit, ki hu yom techila le'mikra'e kodesh, Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim, Ki banu v'charta, V'yotanu kidashta, Mikol ha'amim, V'shabbat kodshecha, V'ahava uvratzon, Hinachaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
L'chaim. Thank you.
I like grape juice.
Okay. Have at it. We continue our service on page 138 with Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi was written by Rabbi Shlomo Alkabetz in the 1400s in Sfat. He was part of the mystical movement, and he wanted everyone to remember his name, so he wrote a piyut. And I don't know if you remember in third grade when we all wrote our name across the top, and then we wrote the letters down the side, and R stood for this, and E stood for this. Rabbi Shlomo Alkabetz did the same with his piyut. He spelled out his name in every line so that we would still have it and know his name from that time. It's pretty cool that we still have it. And during that time, people would go out into the fields. The men would dress in white and wait for the Sabbath bride. And Shabbat was a wedding. It was a reunion between God and the people Israel. And you'll find that on the last verse here, we will stand up and face the door to welcome the Sabbath bride. But we'll be doing verses 1 and 2. And if you saw the entire piyut, it would be 15 pages in its entirety. So we've shortened it.
Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. La 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad, Hishmi'anu el hamiyuchad, Adonai echad u'shamo echad, L'shem ul tiferet v'likti la 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 la, Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nehelcha, ki hi mekor haberacha, mirosh mikedem nisucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshaval techi la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela.
Please rise and stand towards the door.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzohala, toch emunei am segula, kala boicha la 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 lecha dodi likrat kala Pinei Shabbat nikabela lecha dodi likrat kala Pinei Shabbat nikabela la 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 lecha dodi likrat kala Pinei Shabbat nikabela lecha dodi likrat kala Pinei Shabbat nikabela.
It's okay to be moved by music. When we listen to music in our homes, we dance. It's okay. No one's there looking. But we can dance and move even when people are looking. And it's okay. So if you feel the music, and that was good music to feel, you can move around a little bit. You can step your feet one to the other, 7th grade dancing. Or you could just move around. So let's continue with feeling joy tonight together. Page 144. We remain standing for Hatzi Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbi V'yalma divrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon u'v'yomechon U'chayei dechol beit Yisrael Bagala Uvizman kari v'yimeru amen Yehi shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam malol me'amaya yitbarach v'yishtabach yitpar v'yitromam v'yinaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei de Kudesha Berichu Leila min kol bechata v'shirata Tosh bechata v'nechemata Damiran bi'alma v'yimeru Amen. La 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 Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed La 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 la
We turn to the bottom of page 151. I have been making my way through commencement speeches on YouTube, and I was really struck by Brandeis's speaker, David McCullough, who spoke about how stories bring us together, how stories bind us. That if we enter into a conversation knowing that it's going to end up in something that's never going to be resolved, that when we tell our own personal stories, it's a way for soul to connect with soul. and that's the way we reach each other. It reminded me of this reading on the bottom of page 151. We read together. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than the holiness of your words and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We continue with the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated.
And let us join together in chanting the words found in every mezuzah. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvelechtecha b'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam le'od al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'hiot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
We turn to page 157. I'm going to ask that the Cantor side begin reading the bottom first paragraph, then this side will join in the middle paragraph, and together we read the third. So page 157, the top.
Standing on the shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot.
That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. That there is a better place, a promised land. That the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. That there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands and marching together.
Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot o seifele, nora tehilot o seifele, yabam bam bim bim bam, yabam bam bim bam, yabam bam bim bim bam, yabam bam bim bam. Ay, 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 ya ba bum bum bim bum. Ay, 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 ya ba bum bum bim bum. Malachutecha ra'u vanecha. Bokei ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze Eli, anu v'yameru. Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. Ya bam bam bim bim bam, ya ba bam bam bim bam. Ya bam bam bim bim bam, ya ba bam bam bim bam. Ay 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 ay, ya ba bam bam bim bam. Ay 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 ay, ya ba bam bam bim bam. ונאמר כי פרעה את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Over the next 2 pages, we find Hashkivenu, which traditionally was a prayer that one said before going to sleep at night. The rabbis believed that sleep was 1/60th of death, and so they asked God to take their soul and to return it to them in the morning. And in the morning, we have a companion prayer, Moda Ani or Modeh Ani, depending upon how we identify. And so this is a really beautiful prayer. I'm going to read at the top of the page, and then we're going to join together in song for the Hatimah, the last part. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. V'al Yerushalayim v'al kol amo. V'al Yerushalayim shalom. V'al Yerushalayim v'al kol amo. V'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
We rise for the tefillah, which is found on page 164.
Adonai sifatay tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר, ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה, אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם, אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, וביתו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה, אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה, אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. There are many important English and Hebrew readings in this midsection. Many have to do with being grateful for what we've been given in life. They also remind us to notice things each and every day, to act as if we were a child again, and to spy birds up in the trees of different colors, or something unusual wherever we go. As Jews, we are required to say many, many blessings a day. And some of these come from seeing a unique thing or something that will stay in your mind. And it doesn't have to be standing on the Grand Canyon and looking below. It can just be a parent walking with a child in deep conversation. We read together at the top of page 177. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, Hatov Shimcha Ucha Na'eh Lehodot. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam. V'tov be'enecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה, שלומך? שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
We take moments of silent prayer to listen to what our heart, soul, and mind are crying out.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
It is time for the counting of the Omer. And we get to see this beautiful Omer board. Since the second night of Pesach, we have counted the Omer, which is a sheaf of barley. The counting stops with the number of 50, which occurs on the holiday of Shavuot, which is the holiday where we received the Torah from Sinai, and it was the barley ingathering festival. So, today is 38 days of the counting, which are, as you can see, 5 weeks and 3 days. In counting, we recite the blessing, so I want you to recite it with me. The first part is the first of any kind of blessing that you're going to do of action. So, Lahadlik Ner, and then Vitzivanu, and we'll say Al Sfirata Omer, but I'll remind you when we get there. Together. Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav vitzivanu, al sfirat haomer. So each week of counting brings a sense of spirituality into our lives. Every number is incorporated into some mystical saying or something that we need to focus on that day. So tonight is about compassion in our bonding with one another. It's actually what we call Mammoth Reform Temple. It's about who we are and how we stand together. Connections with others need to be about love and compassion, without judgment. It's often hard for us to do these things without judgment, but it's holier when we come to a conversation to listen, or when we help to hold someone up, or when after the period of Shiva, we take them up and we walk around the neighborhood with them, or we go to PT with someone and help them as they're doing the hard work. So there needs to be a sense of empathy in everything we do and how we walk in the world. So I want you to think for a moment about the ways that we each support each other. Do you feel comfortable leaning into a relationship, even in silence? Or does there constantly need to be conversation? Is it too painful to sit in silence with another person because it makes you feel extremely vulnerable and naked? And we try to fill in everything with words. How do we recognize support in our own lives? And what kind of support do we need? We're not mind readers. I've told you this before. So when you need support, you need to tell the people around you how you need to be supported. If you just want to sit in silence together and hold hands, if you want a long hug, if you need a deep conversation, if you need to tell your story, what are the ways that you feel comforted? And what are the ways that you comfort other people? I like the messages that this board brings us every week. So we're going to turn to the Seder Kriyat Torah, the service for the reading of Torah, which is found on page 365. Please rise.
Ein kamocha Elohim Adonai, v'ein kemaasecha, malchutecha malchut olamim, u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai imloch leolam va'ed, Adonai ozlam oitein, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Gadol Almighty, Uneromem Shemo Yachtav. Lecha Adonai hagevura, v'hagevura, v'hatiferet, v'hanetzach, v'hahod. Ki kol hashamayim u'ba'aretz, ki kol hashamayim u'ba'aretz. Lecha Adonai hamamlacha, והמין נעשה לכל ראש. על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על שלושה דברים על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים העולם la'olam. Amen.
Please be seated. As I said before, our Torah portion is Bahalotecha. It is the last Torah portion in the book of Leviticus. And usually when we finish a book of Torah, we say, Hazak, Hazak, Nichazek. May we be strengthened, may we be strengthened, and may we be strengthened going forwards. You need it after this Torah portion. As I said, the first part is the ifs. If you do this for me, says God, I'll give you a great life. But if you don't, it's going to be horrible. You're going to have no rain. The worst things possible are going to happen to you. It's called the tochecha, the rebuke. And it's often spoken about by many rabbis. I'm going to delve into it. There's nothing that's in Torah that's not important, right? Years we say, oh, we can't understand this. We can't see it. We can't see ourselves in the Torah, so we're just going to pass over it. But there's everything in the Torah that can teach us something. And I'm going to teach us in a moment 4 ways of looking at this Torah portion that will help us understand it a little bit and make it a little bit more palpable. The Torah portion is found on page 957, and you read the Torah commentary. Stand next to her. We call for the honor of the Aliyah to Torah, Margot Hassan and John Parisi, who in a moment will be celebrating their 40th anniversary.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hambarak.
Baruch Adonai Hambarak Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarak Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bakar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Im bechukotai telechu, ve'et mitzvotai tishmeru, va'asitem otam, v'natati gishmechem ve'itam, v'natna ha'aretz yivula, ve'etz hasadeh yitain piryo, v'hisig lachem daish et batzir, uvatzir Yashiv, etc. Va'achaltem lachmechem lasava, vishavtem lavetach be'artzechem.
Yasher Koach. So the first part of the Torah portion basically says, Im behuchotai, if you adhere to my commandments, when you live in the land of Israel, and do my commandments, then the land will give back to you. It will be rich with fruit, with all kinds of fruits and all kinds of good, wonderful things, and it will give back to you as long as you take care of it and take care of my commandments. So that's the blessing part. It's lovely. We do take it out of our prayer books for the V'ahavta because of the aspect of reward and punishment. So, blessing after.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet V'chayei Olam Nata B'tocheinu Baruch Ata Adonai Notei HaTorah.
Amen. Yasher Kochachem. Before we dress the Torah, I want to offer you a blessing. So I'm going to ask you to put that back down. I need the tall person in the front row. And the other tall person in the front row. We need one more taller person. I can't hold it. If I do, you'll never see anyone. So if you could take this out and spread it over the two of them. Yes. 40 years ago, you stood under a huppah. And tonight, you again stand under a huppah. In 40 years together, you've learned so much about life. You've raised an incredible daughter and taught her how to be a strong woman out in the world. You've accomplished so much as individuals and together. And now, in this year, you're building your dream house, which I wholly expect to be invited to. I just take up residence in the wine cellar and never come out. But watching you together brings me an incredible sense of joy. And it's what I wish for myself and my husband when we get to that point in our marriage, which is not too far off. You take joy in each other. You laugh at each other. You celebrate life together. You hold each other up. You're both amazing actors. And you bring so much to this community. You bring the fullness of yourself, which is what you do to everything you step forward to do in life. And so I'd like us to all join in the singing of the Shechianu, special prayer for arriving at this time and this place together, holding hands once again under a huppah. I ask God to bless you with health and contentment in the circle of your family and all your loved ones near and far. May your days be those of fulfillment. May you recall the joys that graced your days with light and beauty. You also remember the dark storm that have come and left, and that will continue to come and leave, but leave you stronger as you lean on each other. And so we bless you with the best that life has to offer, an open eye to everything going on around us, an open heart. And Margot, we always know where we stand with you. And I appreciate that openness and honesty. And I know that the two of you have that together. We join together in singing the Shechianu.
Baruch
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu b'zman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu b'zman hazeh. I will see you again in another 40 years. Same place, same talit,
Same guys.
same tall people. Mazel tov.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So in Margot and John have given us all a special gift tonight. They are hosting the Oneg Shabbat, which is spectacular, in honor of their 40th wedding anniversary. And you too can do the same for any kind of blessing that you want to share with the community. You're not going anywhere. I ask everyone to please rise as we lift and dress the Torah.
B'zot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Ya la la la
Asher sam Moshe
la 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 la. Ya la la la.
While the Torah is standing before us, we offer a prayer of healing to anyone who's suffering in mind, body, spirit, and soul. We remember those in our community and in our lives: Rabbi Robert Orak, Martha Branween, Nancy Keller Coffey, Robert Summers, Jessica Knight, Niles Troper, Judith Landau, Pam Friedman, Eric Blumenfeld, Jean O'Connor, Myra Taxa, Linda Kaplan, Baby Mark Y, Michael Gindi, Michael Lynch, Marjorie Canarak, Nancy Baskin, Rabbi Sally Prezan, Chuck Prezan, Ed Ryder Band, Elizabeth Castellano, Debbie Strell, Jane Hilson Aiello, Miriam Bat Avraham Vasara, Simon Clissold, and Lester Polanski. If you are thinking of anyone at this time, I ask you please to share their name as my eyes meet yours.
Beth Morgan.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Joyce Siegel, Abraham Becker,
Marilyn Bernstein.
Thank you.
Will Martin, Tom Pendlebury.
Jay Almer.
Thank you.
Darren and Suzanne Arndt. Barry Gilchrist.
Aaron Ross.
Joy Daniel.
Thank you.
Bob Schwartzman. Sandra Goldberg. And Gerald Goldsmith.
Thank you. I believe that prayers work. I think we saw evidence of that this week. And so we join together in the Mishaberach, which is found in your prayer books on, just going to grab my outline. Thank you.
Piece 71.
Page 371. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema. the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We join together as we put the Torah back in the ark. It's time.
Ayim hi, v'machazikim ba, v'tomecheha, me'ushar, v'racheha, v'chei noam, v'chol netivoteha, shalom, Hashivenu Adonai, Elecha v'nashuva, Chadesh, Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu,
The bottom. This. Yeah, that's good. No, you got it. The first time. It takes a while to warm up. Please be seated. So, I admit that I wrote 4 separate sermons this week. 3 of them were lovely. I figured maybe we needed a little lovely. And then I felt that I had to be true to the Torah portion, which is not so lovely. And so I'm going to ask you to bear with me for a moment. I need you to know that with my dear friend and landlord here, I feel like I have one of my parents watching me, which terrifies me just a little bit. But I'm so glad he's here. Amen. One of the most troubling passages in the Torah is the tochacha, the rebuke. I'm taking this thing off because I don't like it. The tochacha makes up the core of Parasha Behukotai. Can you still hear me? Okay. In each case, a lengthy passage containing do and don'ts is followed by a list of material promises. If we obey God's commandments, then there are riches in store for us. But there's an even longer list of threats, 39 horrific threats, if we don't follow God's commandments. If you obey my commandments, you will be protected. If you don't, you will live a life so horrible that you wish you were not alive. We know that as Reformed Jews, we do not believe in divine reward and punishment. In fact, whenever it was in our prayer books, especially the V'ahavta, we took it out. When tragedy befalls us, when we suffer from illness, it's not because of our action or inaction. Rabbi Harold Kushner titled his first and most famous book, When Bad Things Happen to Good People. And daily, bad things happen to good people. They happen to us individually, and they happen to us communally. How well we are aware of this week with the miracle of Sally Prezan coming out of surgery with the possibility that she'll walk again. And who expected the tragic death of Sean Ross? And while we look for answers, there's none to be found that's satisfying. Because the world is random. Because to know joy, sadly, we must know pain. What I'm going to share with you are different ways of looking at this Torah portion, and some are apologetics from the rabbis. When they can't find an answer that makes sense, they make something up. I'm a rabbi. I know this to be true. While there can be no denying that the Tochacha is as much a part of the Torah as the Ten Commandments, or love your neighbor as yourself, we are extremely troubled by these passages. They don't work for us as Reformed Jews. On one hand, we want to believe that God is justice. On the other hand, we can't figure out how God's justice acts in this world. And so what are we to do with these passages? Any discussion of the blessing and curses in the Bible raises the question of theodicy, why bad things happen to good people, and other discussions, many of which are non-starters. Suffering is a mystery, whether it's caused by human will or natural events. Yet it all seems to be oblivious to the author of Leviticus, the priestly code. Whether one believes that the author is divine or human, if you do not obey me and observe my commandments, I will wreak misery, consumption, and fever upon you. You will sow your seed to no purpose, for your enemy shall eat it. And I will go on smiting you sevenfold for your sins. I will send wild beasts against you. I will lay your cities in ruin. I will make your land desolate. And those are just the nice ones. And yet, each year, as we come to Parsha Behalotecha, we read this horrific list of curses. Traditionally, it's chanted in a whisper so that people don't have to hear them. And yet, it's there in the Torah. And we know that someone put everything in the Torah for a reason. And we can't just skip over it and say, well, we're Reformed Jews. This does not apply to us. We need to figure out a way that we can read it and understand us. We could say that our ancestors believed that misfortune was a product of evil. But we don't believe that. There are two problems with this assumption. First, it assumes that our ancestors did not observe the world around them. Surely they could see that there was suffering in the world, and that innocent people sometimes suffer for no reason at all. And the second problem is, if the Torah still speaks to us today, we're left with the question of what do we do with these curses? I'm going to share with you 5 different ways to read this portion. The literal reading. Some people, Orthodox, ultra-Orthodox, will choose to read this chapter literally. They will argue from our limited perspective that we can't always see how God's justice plays out in the world, but that it doesn't mean we should lose our faith in God's righteousness. In Pirkei Avot, we find the words of Nitae Ha'arbali, who lived in the 2nd century CE, never despair of retribution for the wicked. To the literalists, I'd say, you are entitled to your point of view. But don't be smug or self-righteous. Don't assume you know why people suffer. When you see someone in pain, your job is to reach out to them in compassion. When people suggest that God sent Hitler to convince the Jewish people to move back to Israel, or that bad things happen to good people because their mezuzah wasn't kosher, we're rightfully outraged and incensed by such ignorance. There is nothing worse than theological arrogance, people who believe that they know what God wants with absolute certainty. The consequential reading. The second way of reading the Tochacha is to suggest that this chapter is not an attempt to explain God's actions, but to suggest that there are natural, random occurrences that act by living as part of this world. we can't understand God's ways. But we do know that when we live lives that are destructive and selfish, there will be a consequence for us and for the people around us. If I ever drink and drive, chas v'halila, innocent people will be hurt. And it's a law. So our actions have consequences not only for us, but for the people around us. To the advocate of consequences, I would say I agree with you to an extent, but your answer is not comforting. It leaves good people in misery because other people are irresponsible. Still, if we can learn that we're not alone in this world, then maybe we can improve the world together. What the Tochacha teaches, because it's in the plural, is that we're all in this together, whether we like it or not. As Jews, we are a part of this world. We are not apart from this world. We belong to each other. And because we belong to each other, we support each other. It says in the Talmud that a group of people were traveling in a boat. The man in the front of the boat took out a drill and started drilling underneath his seat. The man behind him tapped him on the shoulder and said, excuse me, why are you drilling the boat? And the man said, why do you care? I'm drilling under my seat. And the response was, because if you drill a hole, we all drown. Your action has consequences. The third approach is the traditional one. We don't have to like this passage or agree with it, but we can't pretend it's not in the Torah. As a result, when we read it, we do so in a whisper so that we can barely hear it. To the silent reader, I would quite quote Rabbi Harold Schulweis. The Bible is not holy because it's the final word, because it's the first word of an unending tradition. Whether or not we agree with the Torah, we honor it and quote it, even as we struggle with it. The loud reading. I think this is my favorite. This comes from a story that's told by Rabbi Stephen Riskin. As a young boy, he once attended the synagogue of the Klotzkiger Rabbi in Brooklyn. The Rebbe had just lost his entire family in the Shoah. Despite this, he remained an advocate for his followers, assuring that they received visas after the war. This particular Shabbat was the week when the Tochacha and Deuteronomy was read. With a traditional practice, the Torah reader began reading the passage in a whisper. Suddenly, the rabbi yelled, "Heker!" louder. And the Torah reader started reading a little louder. Heker, heker, heker. The Torah reader stopped. Could he hear the rabbi correctly? Had he just been told to do something that was so far against tradition? The rabbi turned to face the stunned congregation and cried out in Yiddish with pained expression on his face and fire blazing in his eyes. I said louder. Read these verses loud. We have nothing to fear. We've already experienced the curses. Let the master of the universe hear them. Let him know that the curses have already befallen him, and let him know that it's time to send the blessings. To this reading, I would say that the Tochacha is not about curses, but it's a protest against God. We don't turn away from the injustice that occurs in this world. We've experienced too much suffering, and the time has come to speak out against it. So we say together, we are not afraid. We can't understand the suffering, but we demand an explanation from God. The time has come for the suffering to end and to build a world without curses. Perhaps we need to read this passage as a question and not an answer. We read Torah not because it answers all our questions, but because it challenges us to go out in the world and seek answers, to grow and explore our place in the world. Someone once said that the purpose of religion is to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. Well, we know that this year. We have been afflicted and challenged in so many different ways. And so perhaps it's time for us to look at the blessings that come from the challenges. Baruch atah Adonai, ten lanu shalom v'shlemut. Dear God, please bring us peace and wholeness. We're crying out for it. Margot Hassan from the board will share some announcements with us for tonight.
Shabbat Shalom. I'm Margot Hassan. I'm a member of your temple board. And on behalf of MRT, I want to welcome you and thank you for joining us tonight, either in person or via live stream. Bob and Susan St. Leifer are sponsoring May's Tzedakah Box collection for the Kosher Meals on Wheels program of Jewish Family and Children's Service of Monmouth County. JFCS has programs for food security, Holocaust survivors, senior socialization, and home health aides. Gan Mazon at MRT, that's our Garden of Plenty, has been supporting JFCS with our produce for many years. And now here's a reminder about some upcoming events. Sunday, June 2nd, the Adult Ed Committee will welcome Max Kleinman for his presentation entitled Israel, Lightning Rod for the New Anti-Semitism. The program will start at 10 a.m. with breakfast, followed by a presentation at 10:45 that will also be live streamed from the sanctuary. On Sunday, June 9th at 10 a.m., MRT will be celebrating the confirmation of Zachary Harvey, Kara Lowenstein, and Lyra Seligman. And Oneg will follow the service. Please RSVP to Jordana in the office if you'd like to come to this special service. My husband and I are happy to be celebrating our 40th anniversary with our MRT family. If you are celebrating a special occasion or observing a loved one's yahrzeit, we hope you will consider sponsoring an oneg in honor of that occasion. Again, contact the main office for some more information. MRT would love for more people to invest in our mission of connecting as a community. We welcome your investment of time as well as donations to sustain our future. For information on joining MRT or making a donation, please contact Jordana or visit our website. Rabbi Edelman and Cantor are also always available for you. Please come and say hello to me and John at the Oneg. If we haven't met you, we would love to meet you. Everybody else, we'd love to meet you anyway. And Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I want to highlight some things that are happening this summer. I will be sending out information about 2 sessions where we will just come together to talk. Not to talk to respond, but to talk to listen about how we feel about the situation in Israel and the growing anti-Semitism in this country. I invite you all to do it. If we have too many people signed up for 1 session, then we'll add more. I'm not going anywhere. After the high holidays, we will be offering an adult B'nai Mitzvah class. It'll be on 3 Tuesdays a month with beginner's Hebrew for the first half hour. If anyone wants to come and learn to read Hebrew, you are all welcome to that first section. And then we'll go on and study all different kinds of Torah together. I wanted to let you know that this summer, in the month of July, I am doing a mass conversion. Cantor and I and Rabbi Melinda Pankin are doing a mass conversion of 15 women who took the Judaism 101 conversion class. We're doing it together in the ocean. Someone offered us their private beach. We'll have a ceremony, then everyone will go into the water, take off their bathing suits,
say the prayers, dip 3 times, and come out together and celebrate. So this was an all women's thing until last week. One man who told me that he was just studying because he wanted to study, and he lives in Newark, now wants to come and join the ceremony. So I told them we'd have just a special private one for him. But it's wonderful to see so many people who want to come and join us and be a part of our community and convert to Judaism and continue to learn our tradition. We continue with the Aleinu. I've lost my pages again, which is on page 615 as we rise. What is it? 586, sorry, I'm going by the old prayer book.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, התקלול יוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. Page 592, a poem by Merit Malloy. When I die, give what's left of me to old men and children walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something more than sounds or words. So let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me most by letting hands touch bodies and by letting go of children that need to be free. You see, love never dies. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, please give me away. We mentioned the name of Sean Ross, who will be laid to rest on Wednesday. An email has come out from the congregation. There will be a private family service, and then we'll gather here at 2:30 for another service in Shiva. It's up to us to come together and comfort Dean and his family, as we have done so before. And I pray this is the last. In the period of Shloshim, we remember Helen Lund, Kay Harriges, and we mention those whose yahrzeit fall on this date in seasons past. Their memory is forever a blessing. Bessie L. Bodner, Frances Rose Cohn, Mary Cole, Minnie Lewis Feynman, Harold Geiger, Joshua Glassberg, Bessie Goldberg, Sylvia Goldsmith, Malcolm Goldsmith, Gail Garamba, Henry Greenberg, Esther Haratz, Joseph Ibsen, Edward S. Kaufman, Ruth Mandelbaum, Anna Rogak, Sarah Beth Rosenblatt, Rosalind Rosenblatt, Louis Rosenman, Dorothy Herman Ruby, Vivian J. Russo, Mildred Schroyer, Mildred Shapiro, Gabrielle Spector, Robert Tanner, and Martha Vicenci. If there is anyone here who has come to mark a period of Shiva, or who has someone that they are remembering, I'm going to ask that as everyone rise, I look at your eyes and you share the name. So please rise. And is there anyone here who needs to offer or a memory, a yahrzeit?
Fred Spector.
We turn to page 598 and read together the ancient Aramaic words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'kadash shmei Rabbah, v'yalmad divrach hirotei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'vyomechon, v'chayei dekol Beit Yisrael, b'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam umei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'pa'ar v'traman v'tnaseh. V'yatadar v'ytalal v'ytalal shmei dekudisha b'richu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiran b'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'yokol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom mimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'yokol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Our closing song, Adon Olam, is found on page 625.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Li'et Nasa, B'chetz HaKol. Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'yacharei Kichlot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora Adon Olam, V'hu Haya, V'hu Haveh, V'hu Yeh B'tifara Adon Olam, Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Li'et Nasa,
Li'et Nasa,
B'chetz HaKol.
B'chefsa.
Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Echad, V'yein Sheni, Lehamshilo Lahachbira Adon Olam, V'hu Leishi, B'li Tachlit, V'lo Ha'oz Lahamisra Adon Olam, Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Li'et Nasa,
Li'et Nasa,
B'chefs HaKol. Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Eli, V'chai Goali, V'tzur Chevli B'yetzara Adon Olam, V'hu Nisi Umanosli, V'nat Kosi B'yom Mekra Adon Olam, Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Asher Malach,
Asher Malach,
B'terem Kol,
B'terem Kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Li'et Nasa,
Li'et Nasa,
B'chefs HaKol. Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Biado Avkid Ruchi, V'yeti Shanda Ira Adon Olam, V'im Ruchi Mikeviyati Adonai lev lo ira Adon olam
Adon Olam,
Asher malach
Asher Malach,
B'terem kol
Terem Kol,
Yitzir nivra
Tzir Nivra,
Li'et nasa
Li'et Nasa,
B'chefsa kol Azai melech shemo nikra Adon olam.
Okay, we're very late. We're doing a very quick motzi, and then everyone is hustling and to enjoy this wonderful Oneg Shabbat. Give each other hugs in there. Baruch
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hamotzi lechem min haaretz B'te'avon.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Come take a piece of challah, and we'll see you in the other room in a moment.
Go find the fruit. Find the fruit.
Oh, there's fruit.
Yeah, there should be a 3 pound.
It's an honor.
Who knows? Did you come? I put everything out I saw, and I'm like, what's wrong? Something's wrong. I'm thinking something's wrong. I'm missing something, and I'm pulling out I'm looking at my invoice. It has a 3 pounds. Blue out food bowl. It should be brown.
No, you can hold this here in the morning.
I got your message. Congratulations. That's good. That'll be good. Just want to extend. Thank you. Your voice is great. You inspire. To the service. We're so lucky to. Yes.
Tissue box that you gave me back in your office, that office. It's a wonderful honor.
Hey, Wayne, what is it?